of us have had or do have jobs here in high school, where we have most likely been paid the federal minimum wage of $7.25. But how would we have felt had that amount been a little higher, and the numbers on our paychecks maybe a little bit bigger? This is what people are debating right now in the United States. Perspectives are vastly different concerning whether it would be beneficial for us to raise the federal minimum wage. The three biggest debates in this topic are the economy, how it would concern the workforce, and whether it currently sizes up to the cost of living. The first affair, the possible benefits or consequences to our economy, would raising it could decrease poverty rates by lifting 300,000 people out of poverty and not having enough money. And more money in the pockets of the people would mean more money in circulation, so that we could spend it on things that we want or things that we need. But on the other side, unemployment could also rise because there would be less jobs positions. And according to the reference sheet, we could replace human workers with machines. It could also increase poverty levels by the higher prices are the smaller the quantities of goods and services demanded and the number of workers employed producing them, according to George Reisman, professor of economics at Pepperdine. Not only would raising the minimum wage have effects on our economy, it could also have consequences concerning the workforce. More people would be working full-time than are working full-time right now. And according to equitablegrowth.org, it would ripple across the entire workforce. So more than just the people who earn minimum wage right now would be earning higher wages. And this is seen in 1996 and 1997 when it was raised from $4.25 to $5.15, where not only the people who got minimum wage for their job got raises, the people who had earned standard wages did as well. But on the other side, small businesses could have less resources to pay for as many workers, and a lot of people could get laid off and unemployment could rise that way. And we could also outsource jobs where labor is cheaper in other countries, so these small businesses or larger companies wouldn't have to pay as much for their services. We also have to take into consideration the current cost of living here in the United States and whether or not the current minimum wage sizes up. If it was raised, people could afford better living spaces, bigger apartments, and just better places with better appliances and better accommodations. And they could also afford healthier groceries than going out to eat takeout, which sometimes is less expensive than going to buy healthier things like salads at the grocery store or fresh fruits. It could also reduce people on the federal help system on welfare by them not needing as much help, like food stamps or help with money for rent. And it could, quote, reduce the federal deficit as stated by procon.org. But it could also raise inflation so that all of those things that they could now afford, like groceries and better living spaces, would also cost more because everyone would be earning more and the economy would have to rise to stand up with it. And a lot of people say that the current minimum wage was never meant to be a living profession, and that people were never supposed to raise families on this amount of money. And it could harm the poorest parts of the United States because of this. And in conclusion, nobody knows for sure how it would affect our economy, our workforce, or the cost of living as of right now if we raised the minimum wage, And many say it could have good effects, and many people say it could have really bad consequences as well. And I hope that my speech has helped you form a better educated opinion on the topic. Thank you. Yes, Hannah?
Do you know if they're actually looking into raising the minimum wage or not?
Yeah, it's a popular topic right now, especially with the election going on. And from what I understand, the Democrat Party is more into raising it, but I'm sure it would be very popular with all of the debates rising. Paige?
Do they have like a certain number they want to raise it to, or just raise it in general?
I've heard a lot about them wanting to raise it between $10 to $15, depending on, I guess, whatever they can pass. Ivy?
You said that, it was said that the minimum wage was never meant to be, standard, wage to live on.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that there are so many people nowadays that are not getting, higher paying jobs, that there's so many people living on the minimum wage?
Well, I'm sure a lot of people may not be able to afford to go to college and get degrees, and they get stuck in these high school jobs that they acquire when they're younger. I haven't read any proper facts or statistics on that, but that would be my guess. Jackie?
So like Indiana's minimum wage is $7.25, and then in Ohio it's like 8 something, 8.40
Yeah.
maybe, I don't know. But then like in states like California, it's even higher than that. So would the minimum wage all across the United States be 10 to 15? Do you have any information about that?
Well, some states have already raised their minimum wage, like you said, because the cost of living is a lot higher in different states. They're trying to raise the federal minimum wage so that employers couldn't pay their employees less than that.
Okay.
But they might already be paying them more than the federal minimum as of right now.
Do you know how that federal number is determined? Like, how did they come up with $7.25 as the, that's the amount for the minimum wage? Do you know how that number was determined?
It was raised in 2009 to $7.25, and I haven't read anything on it, but my guess would be that they sized it up to the current standards of what people pay for the things that they need and how much they would need to make to meet the basic requirements.
All right.